Hi, welcome to the Truth of Tal and Isaac. I'm Tal, this is Isaac, and we're here to talk the truth about sports. Tonight's show, 15-minute analysis on the James Harden trade, huge trade in the NBA, and we're also going to discuss the top 5 power forwards of all time. Good topic that carry over from our center discussion with our last episode. Before we jump into it, got some merchandise available. Check out our Instagram page. You can listen or watch 4 different ways: Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, or YouTube. Isaac says all those things are cool, so that is good. For our next episode, episode number 10, we want to start bringing in the fans. We're going to talk about road trips. Isaac and I have been lucky enough to go on some pretty cool road trips. Andrew and Mike Oakley, we've had some good adventures together. And Steve and Drippy Attridge, we've had some really cool trips with those guys as well. So please submit your coolest road trip to us. Again, do it through our Instagram account, and Isaac can download, and we can pick the best road trips.
Or email him if you'd rather do that.
No, email him.
Okay. All your work buddies aren't going to email me. They're going to email you.
Okay. Email me if you want, or email Isaac if you want. And if you can't figure out how to get your email, then just send a message to Isaac, and he'll figure it out. Cool. So road trips, let us know what cool ones are. NHL, off and running, Wings rebuilding, Dylan Larkin's the captain. They will likely be last or second last this year and hope to get a good draft pick and not get screwed in the lottery. The Leafs won their first game, so obviously the crazy Maple Leafs fans spent all this time planning the parade route. It'll be neat. It'll be neat to see the Canadian teams play together, and also Ovechkin and Crosby get to play each other a lot this year, and that's cool, right? Rivalries are good, and Ovechkin and Crosby have played each other a lot in their careers, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. Michigan Hoops
lost today. They were undefeated. They're going to lose eventually. They lost in a pretty sucky way. Lost on the road at Minnesota.
They missed everything.
Yeah, just couldn't hit anything. A couple bad calls go their way. A lot of stuff rimming out. No Eli Brooks, and I'm not a huge Eli Brooks guy, but they missed him. So, Michigan Hoops fans, we're not going to have, a main topic on Michigan. Not until they win the national championship, but we got to keep talking about them.
No, leading into March Madness, for sure. We'll do some March Madness topics.
Yeah, we'll do a lot of March Madness, because everyone likes March Madness, even if you're not a big college ball fan. So we'll get through that, and then NFL, as we record this on Saturday evening, the Packers just finished beating up on the Rams. We had a little bit debate about Aaron Donald.
Isaac had a terrible take.
Okay, it's not a terrible take.
He called Aaron Donald soft.
This game, I thought he was very, very soft, and then he's the toughest guy in the NFL. So I'm like, offense or defense? So I just proceeded to name people that are...
Drew Brees, who is about my size.
Drew Brees is tougher. He has broken ribs, and he's still balling.
Okay.
Derrick Henry, tougher.
Okay, Derrick Henry's the one guy that I say, okay, he's probably right up there.
J.J. Watt.
Yes. Pretty tough too. I mean, he's had a shoulder taken out and put back together a couple times. But Aaron Donald is one of the toughest guys in the NFL.
Deshaun Watson. You don't like that, but that's true. Football fans know Deshaun Watson is a beast.
He's pretty tough.
And then the dude who died and then was resurrected, Alex Smith, he's pretty tough.
He's tough more from an intestinal fortitude, but realistically...
Doctor, big word.
Yeah, in a street fight, I'm picking Aaron Donald.
Okay,
actually, I'm still picking Aaron Donald.
Completely different debate.
Yeah. Okay.
So the NFL, we'll talk playoffs probably next episode after the divisional round this weekend.
Pistons, Tigers, both terrible, but they have young guys, and young guys are fun to watch. The Pistons are doing exactly what I want. They're playing young guys, they are competitive, and they are awful. So they're going to be in the running for Cade Cunningham. Like Sadiq Bey, man, he's fun to watch.
Awesome. Man, he's so good.
Stewart, Grant is awesome. You want to trade Grant already? I don't know what's going to happen there.
We'll talk about Grant later on.
Yeah, that's probably going to be next episode.
Or I have him later this episode as a potential trade guy to one of the good East teams. But we'll get there.
Okay. You want to jump in 15-minute analysis on James Harden?
Yeah. So what we'll do is, first we'll kind of break it down, because it's pretty complex. There's a lot of... there's 4 teams involved and a bunch of picks and a bunch of players.
And an update today, actually within the last hour.
Yeah, so first we'll team by team, we'll just say what they lost, what they gained, and then we'll kind of talk about our thoughts. Spoiler alert, neither of us love it for Brooklyn. They're not beating the Lakers, but we'll get there. So the Brooklyn Nets acquired James Harden, lost Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Torian Prince, 3 firsts, a second, and 4 swap rights. So I think
4 swap rights?
I believe it was 4 swap rights.
Wow.
I think Houston has 4, going up to like 2027 or something like that. All this stuff I'm going to say here, I'm pretty sure is accurate, but I might be off by like 1 or 2. But I think I've got most of it. Houston Rockets acquired Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodions Crooks, the dude who lights up the Pistons every time they play, 4 first rounders, 4 swap rights. So that's what Houston brought in, and they only lost Harden, nothing else. Indiana Pacers acquired Karis LeVert and 2 second rounders, lost Victor Oladipo. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Break that, because that's breaking news we just found out about. And then Cleveland Cavaliers acquired Jared Allen, Torian Prince, lost Exum, the first rounder, and a second rounder. So Karis LeVert.
Is the first rounder protected for Cleveland?
I don't know that one. You got to ask Woj.
Okay.
He knows more details than I was. The second phone call. It was Woj, and then it was me.
Okay.
So Karis LeVert just found out indefinitely with some like kidney injury or something like that, right? Like they found a mass on, I think it was kidney. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think it was kidney.
Sucks to hear, right? Like he's a Michigan guy. So we like Karis LeVert a lot. So Indiana got another second rounder because of this injury. So we don't know how long he's going to be out. But
This is weird because Indiana's not tanking, right? Like Sabonis is probably an MVP candidate.
100%.
Like, not
Who's the
top
MVP
3
right now, though? Do you know? It's Joel Embiid.
Is Joel Embiid?
100%. It's Joel Embiid. 100%.
Okay.
It's Joel Embiid. But yeah, so
Dude in Denver's doing pretty good.
yeah, but their record isn't great.
Yeah.
Right? You got to win. If it stopped today, it's JoJo for sure. So yeah, Pacers are in a weird spot. They've got a lot of offense, right? Jimmy Butler's son, T.J. Warren, when healthy, is a good scorer. Sabonis, again, MVP candidate. Miles Turner is actually a good two-way player, and now Karis LeVert. Hopefully, they can get him back relatively soon. But
They're one of the Bogdanovich dudes, right?
Do they?
I can't keep track of
No,
those dudes.
Utah is one of them, and then the other is Atlanta, I think.
Okay.
I think. They have McConnell, TJ McConnell. Is that who you're thinking of?
Maybe, I'm not sure.
So, yeah, Indiana, like, they're a solid team, right? They were the 4 seed last year. People forget about that. The 4 seed. But they got swept first round by Jimmy Butler. But
Let's get into the meat. Harden going to the Nets. How many basketballs? Like, is the game changed? Is there multiple
I'm
basketballs?
tired of hearing about that nonsense. Like, look, I don't think it's going to be a great trade, but how many basketball... Kevin Durant is one of the best basketball minds, offensively talented guys ever.
Listen, I love Durant. I really do. Those other 2 dudes, awesome. Like, terrible. First of all, do you know what James Harden's new nickname is?
Oh, is it Fear the Burger?
No, Fear the Burger. Cheeseburger or Fear the Burger. He's fat.
He's not fat. Look, if you look at pictures of him playing with Brooklyn, and the pictures where he was wearing in Houston, he was wearing like 3 jumpsuits under his warm-ups just to get people talking. And now in Brooklyn, he's just dressing normally, and he's like, oh, not that fat anymore. So kind of smart by Harden. I like that. But
Okay, give it a grade. Forget about the side teams. I mean, Cleveland probably did okay. Indiana's
Cleveland did
hard
great.
to say. Houston and the Nets. Letter grades.
Houston, I will go B-.
Whew.
I don't look like Victor Oladipo is not there long term. In fact, good chance they trade him this year, I think.
Listen, I agree. But, so Houston you've got as a...
I put a B-.
I've got Houston as an A-. The fact that they were able to offload Harden and get that much stuff, and they're going to set their team up for the next
See, I disagree.
6 years.
I think Houston panicked. I think Harden said all this nonsense, and Houston made a few calls that night and said, we got to get this guy out
Listen,
before.
if they panicked, they got... How many? What did they get? 3 first-round
They're
picks?
4 firsts.
4 first swaps?
What
plus a
first
couple
rounder
of
is going to
dudes?
be anywhere close to as good Harden?
No, the next 2 years? Not much.
No. That first, right? They have 4 first-round picks.
Right.
Would those 4 dudes combined be anything close to Harden? No. No, they won't.
I don't know. I mean, you look at what Boston did when they traded Pierce and Kevin
KG,
Garnett.
Yeah.
That set them up.
Yeah, like I think that they actually, right? The best player they got in this trade is Victor Oladipo, who will not be there. That's the best player they got.
For 2021, yes.
And, right? Dante Exum, role player. Kurix, role player on a good day. Only against Pistons he's good. And 4 firsts and 4 swap rates. Look, 4 firsts is sweet. 4 swap rates is good.
Okay, so you got to B minus Houston. Okay, what's the grade for the Nets?
You go first.
I've got a C plus. I had it as a B minus. Now I have it as a C plus. It's a 2-year window. It's a huge risk. I'm just going to tell you what my prediction is. And you're going to get into this later with more detail. But one of the other East teams, Miami or Philly, they're going to trade for Bradley Beal. They're going to beat the Nets in the second round. They're going to, they'll get behind a little bit. The Nets will get all selfish and whiny, and Kyrie will just be jacking up threes, and Harden will be jacking up threes, and KD, who is one of the top couple players on the planet, won't get the ball as much as he should, and they're going to lose. And then what's going to happen in the offseason, Kyrie's going to bitch and moan, then they'll have to dump him. I think it's a huge risk-reward scenario. They could win 2 championships. They really could, but they have bought themselves a 2-year window with a guy who has never proven that he can win, to play with KD, who can win. And Irving, yes, he did win once, and he hit a big 3.
LeBron carried him, though.
But LeBron carried him.
Sure.
So I think it's a huge risk. And the other thing that hurts Houston in this year, depth, right?
Oh, hurts Brooklyn.
So it hurts Brooklyn this year. Depth is a huge issue, more than ever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'll say my grade. What did you say? C plus?
C plus.
Okay, so I will go with I'll actually go the same grade as Houston. I'll go B minus. I don't think either team won significantly, and I don't think that's ridiculous to say.
I agree.
So depth. Starting 5. Kyrie's your 1, assuming that he can not party and play basketball. Harden,
Which is
that's a bit
of an assumption.
Yeah. Harden's your 2. Joe Harris is your 3. Those are interchangeable.
Yeah.
KD is your 4. DeAndre Jordan's your 5. They don't have a small forward.
So when they go small, because DeAndre Jordan fouls and probably isn't good in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
So against Miami, they probably can't play him against Bam or even Embiid.
No way.
I don't know.
No one can. No, they can't.
So who's the 6th guy on the Nets?
So, if you look at their bench unit, Bruce Brown, who sucked in Detroit and lit it up, last game or a couple games ago.
He's a decent defensive player,
Yeah,
but
he's an okay
he
defensive
shouldn't
guy.
play more than 14 minutes a game.
Landry Shamet, who's actually solid. Underrated, I think.
Okay.
Good shooter from the Clippers.
Okay.
The French dude, Timothy Carabout, or whatever his name is, he's a defensive guy. Played a lot in the bubble, right? And then Jeff Green is their 4, backup 4. And then their backup center is currently Nick Claxton.
Oh, Big Nick. Yep.
Yeah, Big Nick. I don't know. Who's guarding Embiid?
I don't know who Nick Claxton is.
Who's guarding Tristan Thompson even? He's not an offensive guy, but is DJ going to be able to body up Tristan Thompson for 35 minutes?
No, he's going to foul out in 11 minutes.
So they don't have, they have 4 good starters. I think DeAndre Jordan will be a good start in the regular season. Joe Harris, I actually prefer, I think he's a 6th man on a good team, on a solid team.
So they need another big. They need a Jay Crowder kind of guy, so...
They need a small forward and a center.
Yeah.
Is what they, right?
I'm not worried about... Joe Harris is great. Great floor spacer. He's a perfect complement.
Great defender.
No, he's not a great defender. Look, the Nets are not great defenders.
Yeah, that's another, right? Who on this team plays defense? KD?
KD plays defense.
Harden, inconsistently. Harden actually has great hands. Harden has very
Gets
good
lots of
hands.
steals, but how many times does he let the guy go by him and try and get tap steals?
Or chase down, yeah.
Yeah, he just pads his stats.
Timothy Carabout might be getting a lot of minutes. We should figure out how to pronounce his name, because...
We probably should.
He's other than Durant, he's probably their best and most consistent defender, I think. I don't think Jordan, talked about, is he going to play much in the play? How is his game going to translate to the playoffs?
It's not.
So depth is a big issue. Another issue is the other Eastern Conference contenders. How do they react? So the teams that there's 3 teams that come to my mind as legit contenders.
Additional teams.
Should be 4, realistically. 4 additional teams. The Heat, the Sixers, the Bucks, and the Celtics.
Oh yeah, you know what? Forget about the Celtics. Yeah.
So if one of those 4 teams, I think needs to make a move. In a 7-game series, I feel like KD, Kyrie, and Harden will be able to figure it out and win 4 games in a series. I think that against Lakers,
3 times in a row.
no way.
Okay, Lakers, Nets, both teams as is.
Lakers for sure.
I got the Lakers.
By a mile.
That's the biggest question. So the Nets arguably have now the most talent, but I'm not picking them in a 7-game series against the Lakers.
I don't think it's that close. I really don't. Unless, right? We might be wrong. The next 2 weeks, these 3 guys might play together and might light it up and blow everyone out by 50. That might happen.
Yeah.
But again, regular season is pretty different from playoffs. How is defense going to work? How is DeAndre Jordan going to hold up? Will they be able to make another move? COVID is a big issue with depth right now.
Well, and Harden and Kyrie just like to party.
They're
so
COVID
they're COVID stupid,
issues.
COVID idiots.
What if they lose a couple of these bench guys? Then they're really short. They're really, really short. So other East contenders, those teams that we mentioned, they need to make a run at a guy, I think, to beat them. I do. I think the Nets will be able to figure it out. But, it's so hard to say, right? Giannis might be able to hit free throws. Or threes. Right? He just shot 1 for 10 or something like that against Dallas the other night. Yeah. Terrible. If one of those guys can figure it out.
I don't think the Bucks have the ability, they don't have the assets to trade anymore, right? They gave away lots.
They don't have much.
Holiday.
The Celtics need Kemba back for sure.
Absolutely.
And when it initially happened, did they not say early January? Or mid-January?
I think mid-January.
Well,
it's the 16th today, and there's no sign of him.
I think I saw a video of him dribbling up and down the court. And it was oh, Kemba's dribbling, look, it's so good. Okay, I think he's at least a week or 2 for sure. I think there's a good chance we don't see him for a couple weeks.
Yeah, and listen, they may just be coasting and not trying to put too much pressure on him just because he's, I don't know, what is Kemba, 32 maybe?
I don't know if he's that old, but yeah, he's probably early 30s.
He's got a lot of miles on him. Listen, I think the Heat trade for somebody. So, okay, who are the guys other than Beal?
So I wrote down a few names that these teams might go after. Where did I have them? DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal, Buddy Hield, Jeremy Grant, Kevin Love, Andre Drummond. A few names that I threw down. Some on expiring deals, some on very good contracts. Obviously, the best guy there is Beal for any team. Bradley Beal has proven that he is a top 3 scorer, top 5 scorer in the NBA in terms of scoring. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's up there for sure. And he's doing this on a really dysfunctional Washington team. So if one of these, if Miami or Philly are able to trade for Beal without giving up one of their top few guys, right? Obviously Miami will be trading Hero if they were to get someone of significant, right? Get a guy like Beal. But, Duncan Robinson, they probably don't want to lose Duncan and Hero. And, Philly, how much is Philly going to want to give up to get Beal? Simmons, I think, is staying there. I think that their new guy that came in has said, he's our guy. And I actually think there's a good chance Simmons stays.
Looney, the GM?
Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey, that's it.
Really smart dude. Didn't work out great in Houston, but he's a really, really smart guy. I think Simmons is there. So if Beal can go to one of these teams without giving up a king's ransom, I think that team that he goes to will be the new favorite. So if Beal goes to Miami for, Hero, Nunn, Chua, some picks, something like that, Miami's the new favorite. If he goes to Philly and Philly's able to hold on to, Embiid, Simmons, Curry, Harris, those guys, and just trade a bunch of role players and picks. Yeah, but I don't know if Beal's going to become available. I really don't. He should be, because he's not winning anything.
Yeah, they're not winning, and the problem with Washington, they're in the stage where they're going to be kind of bad, but not really bad, so they're not going to be a top 7 or 8 lottery team. I don't know. It's tough to trade away a guy like Beal. He's the kind of guy who you build around. Okay, talk about Jeremy Grant. I didn't know that deal.
Did
you just make that up yourself, or did you read that somewhere?
I made it up myself. Look, Jeremy Grant right now is 15th or so in the league in points per game. He's been awesome. Any Pistons fan Loves Jeremy Grant.
Plus, he's a good scorer.
And he's a most improved...
Sorry, good defender.
Yeah. He's a most improved player candidate, for sure. He's like... We thought he was going to be good. But he went from like...
He's awesome.
The third or the fourth option in Denver to the go-to guy and has been pretty solid in Detroit. Like, in terms of need a bucket, ISO.
And he gets the ball in his hands a lot, and he's having to score a lot, and his turnovers are actually down. So he's improved a ton.
If Grant goes to, Miami needs a 4. If Grant goes to Miami, that's going to make him a tough team to beat. Andre Drummond is on an expiring deal. I think there's a good chance he gets moved. A team like Boston comes to mind.
Tristan Thompson and Andre Drummond, it's the same guy.
Well, they played together in Cleveland, and it wasn't terrible. Like, I don't think they run Twin Towers. Drummond, Thompson, never on the court at the same time.
No.
But...
I guess if you need minutes to match up against somebody, but...
Yeah, I think...
I don't think it helps you beat the Nets.
But Cleveland got Jared Allen, a really good young guy. Young center.
Like 22 years old.
So, I don't see them keeping JaVale McGee, Drummond, and Allen. One of those guys has to leave.
Okay.
That's my thoughts. Buddy Hield, another guy that I think could be moved. And he actually has been great this year. His cost is probably pretty low. Team that needs it, right? Philly addressed their shooting needs in the offseason, but a guy like Buddy Hield going to Philly would be super dangerous, I think. Even Boston. Imagine him in Boston.
Oof, another slasher. Boy.
And the Bucks, I don't think the Bucks have the assets to trade for one of these big guys.
No.
But even another guy, DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan has been awesome this year. Career high 7 assists a game this year in San Antonio for DeMar.
And still a great scorer.
And still a great scorer.
Again,
and 3-point shot.
He's a really good playoff guy because you need isolation, you need a bucket. I know 3-point, all the rage 3-pointers, but DeRozan is a little similar to Jimmy in that you need a bucket. Doesn't matter if it's a 2-pointer. He's a guy.
Yeah, I'm okay with that comparison. So, a few, those are the names. Obviously, Levine. I actually don't know if he'll get moved. I think Chicago kind of wants to keep him because he's their guy.
Yep.
And I don't
Laurie
think...
Markkinen.
They got a couple other young guys. But I don't think that they'll want to move on from Levine. I think he's really, really beloved in Chicago. And before we finish up with Harden, let's not, forget about some of the other bigger trades in NBA history. This is nowhere near one of the biggest trades ever, even if they win a ring.
I agree with you.
If somehow they win a ring this year,
I have 6 trades listed that are bigger than.
Name a few of them.
That Kareem guy,
Al Sindor.
Yeah, Lou Alcindor. Actually, I think you're right. Was he Lou Alcindor when they traded from Milwaukee to L.A. for 4 stiffs? Will Chamberlain went from Philly to L.A. for 3 stiffs and a pick. Anthony Davis. Those are huge guys. You know the common denominator? Lots of guys to the Lakers, right? People want to go to the Lakers, unfortunately. Kobe, you know who Kobe was traded for?
Nothing, right? Me?
No, Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
When Kobe was your age. He was 18 years old.
A couple other trades, Rodman to the Bulls. 3 rings there. Parrish and McHale to the Celtics.
That's a huge trade that not a lot of people talk about.
In NBA history with them and
so Parrish and McHale for Joe Barry Carroll, who was the first overall pick, who was pretty good for about 3 years, and Ricky Brown. I guarantee you, anybody under the age of 30 is like, Joe Barry who? Unless you really know old-time basketball. But, Kawhi Leonard, he's been involved in 2 really big trades that have led to NBA championships. And the other thing is, and one of the reasons why I'm surprised the Nets gave up so much is they mortgaged their future 8 years ago. It was 2013 when they traded for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce close to the end of their career. So they mortgaged. So they were crap for the last 6 years because they traded away everything. And that really helped Boston get to where they are now with lots of picks and lots of assets.
If you're a Brooklyn fan and this doesn't work out...
Oh my gosh. You never want to trade ever again.
And who are you going to go cheer for? The Knicks? Not a lot of good basketball down in New York right now.
Yeah, so. The Knicks are colossally bad year after year after
Julius Randle, MVP though. Triple-double machine this year.
Okay, but again, some of those stats, and even Jeremy Grant, I love Jeremy Grant, But
Yeah.
when you're on a crappy team, somebody has to score. Somebody like the other team, you foul them, they miss a free throw. Somebody's got to go up and get a board. Those are stats that just have to go to somebody. So, I like Randall, and he's a good stat guy. And maybe they got a couple of decent young guys, but they're just going to trade him, right? Oh, that Porzingis. I don't think it's going to work out. They traded Porzingis for nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't even think it's one of the biggest trades in NBA history for sure.
Yeah.
Probably not even top 10.
Closing, they might make it to the finals. If one of the East teams reacts as they should and gets a guy like Beal or one of the other, guys that are out there, then I'll probably take them depending on what they give up to beat Brooklyn.
So all factors being equal and no big trades happen, the Nets are in the final.
Unfortunately.
Okay. And the Lakers beat the Nets.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. You agree?
Lakers are still the best team. Lakers still win this year unless something crazy happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Nets make it to the finals.
I'd rather take the field than Brooklyn, right? If you give me Milwaukee, Miami, Philly, Boston, I'd rather take them.
Yep,
than
I agree
Brooklyn.
with you. Yep, I agree with you.
But
and partially, I got to admit it, I don't like Harden and I don't like Kyrie, so I want them to fail.
I want them to fail.
Like, I don't want anybody to die, but realistically, I'd be okay with a little MCL action.
Wow. Just say, no, you'd rather Harden and Kyrie go partying one night and get COVID, and then they're just gone for a little bit. So we get to see KD just be awesome, and then
actually, I love KD. KD is amazing, so I'd like that. So to summarize the NBA trade, so the big NBA trade is we don't love it for anybody. We think it's a huge risk, but it'll make the NBA really entertaining for the next 3 months. Like, talk about must-see TV. Again, I hate 2 of those 3 dudes, but I want to watch them. Like, I want to finish this, and I want to go watch the fourth quarter. They were losing to Orlando, by the way, when we started taping.
We're moving on to power forwards now, but I'm just putting it out there. Get ready for power forwards, because I'm
ready.
gonna own you in this ranking again. That's the truth. How funny would it be if LeBron lost to another super team in the finals? I'm just putting it out there.
It would be.
I'm putting it right.
That would be a little bit funny.
Okay,
who do you want to win? Who would you rather win?
Out of those 2 teams?
Yeah.
Man.
Because you hate the Lakers and you hate
I'm going to get
Nets.
hate on this, but I would actually rather see Brooklyn beat the Lakers. First of all, I think it's a better story than repeat champs with, guys that, everyone just going to LA to win chips, like what the Lakers did. But I would not be happy, regardless. So
I dislike LeBron less than I dislike Harden and Kyrie. Mm-hmm. So I'm going for the Lakers. And I think the Lakers have more talent, and I think they're built better for the playoffs. They're a much better defensive team and have the ability to score when they need to.
But, man, I do not want Lakers-Nats finals. I really, really don't. That'd make me upset. Okay.
Top 5 power forwards of all time. And Isaac and I, just when we were doing a show prep, this is going to be one of those positions where we do this draft today, we do this ranking today. If we were to do the ranking 15 years from now, it's probably not going to change much because power forwards are like 4s and 5s. Like Anthony Davis. Is he 4? Is he a 5? Bam. Is he a 4? Is he a 5? There's a lot of mishmashing.
And then next episode, when we talk small forwards, Kawhi, Giannis, all those guys, KD.
Is Giannis a point guard? Is he a center?
Are they 1s, 2s? No, they're 1s, 3, 4, 5. You can make the debate.
Pretty much.
Honorable mentions. You have a few?
Bob Pettit is my first honorable mention. You got him?
Yeah.
Dig up his stats, man. He was a beast. Scored a ton, rebounded a ton. When the league was first starting. Dennis Rodman.
I have Rodman.
As an honorable mention?
As an honorable mention.
Okay,
sorry.
good.
Yeah, I got 2.
Yeah, so one of the best defenders of all time. Head case, obviously, but he won a lot of rings, right? He was instrumental to
2 dynasties.
2 dynasties. Yep. And actually, he did okay in San Antonio. He was really wacko by San Antonio. It was good. I had to list 2 more honorable mentions just because I really
I have 2 more, though.
Who do
I have Elvin Hayes.
Okay, I thought about him, but did not include him.
And this would be 6. If we did our top 6, this guy would be 6. Kevin McHale.
Okay, exactly right. Kevin McHale. Watch some old Kevin McHale highlights. Man, he was a low post master. Like, and he was actually the only guy from the Celtics who was classy to the Pistons when the Pistons finally
That's not
kicked.
top class with the bad boys.
Okay, whatever. Listen, the Pistons, nobody liked them unless you were from Detroit. So what? McHale was the only
Just a
guy.
minute, you were from Detroit?
Yeah, South Detroit. Come
Oh,
on.
I forgot. Yeah.
So Kevin McHale, best low post, one of the best low post guys in history. Chris Bosh I listed as well.
Chris Bosh is up there. He's definitely top 10.
Yep, for sure. Like, he's top 10. He would probably be 7 or 8 on my
Yep.
list. So I guess we'll jump into number 5. I'll go first.
Go for
I
it.
got the round mound of rebound, Charles Barkley, listed as number 5. Reasons. So Charles Barkley was like 6'4", and maybe even a shade under that, like 6'3" and 3/4.
What did they list him at? Do you know?
Oh, I think they listed him at
6'6"?
6'7" or something, but
Okay.
he was like 6'3" and 7/8 or something along those
awesome.
lines. 11-time All-Star, no rings, which hurt him.
Which is why he's not higher, which
Yep.
I'm cool with. My number 5, I want him to put him higher, and he did get a ring, and I have 2 guys ahead of him who don't have rings, but I have Kevin Garnett at 5.
Ooh,
I have Kevin
Okay.
Garnett at 5. Look, he has an MVP and a ring, but the 4 guys ahead of him, I think, are just better players than KG. KG was a great defender and one of the best competitors in the history of basketball. He wasn't Mike or Kobe in terms of mentality, but definitely
was right there.
up there. He was definitely up there.
I've got KG higher. I think
Okay.
that KG was one of those guys who actually sacrificed some of his stats because he didn't really care about it because it was so intense.
I like
He wanted
unselfish
to win.
superstars.
So I've got the mailman as number 5. You probably got him higher because you care about stats more than me.
Okay, easy there, big fella. So, talk about Karl Malone.
2-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, no rings.
Keep spewing off stats. Said I care more about stats, but it's fine.
He obviously did benefit with playing with John Stockton, and it is likely that nobody ran the pick and roll in history better than those 2 dudes.
I agree.
So I like the mailman, but he didn't really deliver on Sundays. And actually, I did
quote.
not a Scottie Pippen fan, but Scottie Pippen did say once Malone had to step to the line and had to hit some big free throws. Scottie Pippen walks up and says, "Mailman don't deliver on Sundays," and then just walked by and he bricked his free throws. So that was solid. But I get Malone a 4. You got a 4.
My 4, I have Charles Barkley. I've
close.
got Barkley at 4. Super efficient, super fun to watch. Go watch Barkley highlights. Like,
He was
people
fun to
know
watch.
him now for saying stuff with Shaq and Kenny. Go watch some Charles Barkley highlights.
Oh
Like,
man,
was
he would
awesome.
get the rebound. Like he would sky above people, get the rebound, then he'd dribble 94 feet
Rim run,
and
yeah.
dunk on your head.
Super entertaining and didn't get a ring. Came close, didn't get a ring, but did get a league MVP.
Yep.
So I've got Barkley at 4.
Why don't you just give me 3 because I've had the first pick.
3, I've got Karl Malone at 3.
Okay.
Some people are going to have him at 2, but Karl Malone couldn't do what these 2 guys ahead of him could have done. Malone, again, great in the pick and roll, a great scorer, had a good mid-range jump shot, and a really, really solid defender. But like he said, couldn't deliver on the biggest stage. 0-3 in the finals. 0-3 in the finals.
That's big.
And could not do what these other 2 guys ahead of him, especially number 2. So I've got the mailman at 3.
Yeah, so I've got Dirk Nowitzki as 3. You probably got him a little bit higher. So 14-time All-Stars, a ring, Finals MVP, stretch 4, like really, he was an amazing stretch 4, and he was so much fun to watch, and he helped that European influence really take off. I mean, those guys like Drazen Petrovic and Vitas Sabonis that were solid, but Dirk Nowitzki really, helped with the growth of the European League and the European influence in the NBA.
So Dirk was your
Dirk was my 3.
3. So my 2, I've got Dirk as my 2.
Okay.
Dirk or die. Carried a Dallas team to beat a super team in Miami. Karl Malone couldn't have done that.
Yep.
Karl Malone, if you place Malone on that Dallas team, he could not have done what
They don't
Dirk
even
did.
make the finals.
Yeah, I agree. They don't make the finals. The best shooting big man ever, right? Like, he was a power forward, but he was 7 feet tall, or is 7 feet tall.
Yep.
One of the best shooting big men of all time. Has a ring, has an MVP, and got that finals MVP. So I have Dirk at 2, and a really, really fun dude to watch. A really likable guy. Everyone likes Dirk. Except LeBron and Heat fans don't like Dirk, but everyone else pretty much likes Dirk. So I have him at 2.
Yeah. So I've got KG as number 2. Listen, I loved KG. He was super, super intense. He was in around the Kobe days where he came right out of high school, right? Just because he used to be able to go to the NBA right from high school, which they might do again, I think, in 2 years. Is that right?
I think that's right, yeah.
KG, 15-time All-Star, 12 All-Defense. Man, Isaac's boys are texting. We're calling
Evan, you're FaceTiming me right
Evan's
now.
FaceTiming Isaac right now.
Sorry about it.
He wants to get in on the podcast. And I mentioned it earlier. I really think KG sacrificed his stats both in Minnesota and Boston to win.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So that's why I have him so high. And I think we both have the same guys, number 1.
Tim Duncan.
Big fundamental. Man, he was amazing. He was amazing at Wake Forest. 5 rings.
And a Ray Allen shot from 6.
Yes.
Shot away from 6 rings.
Yeah.
15 all-defense selections. Nuts. And everybody has Tim Duncan in their top 10 of all time.
Yes.
Everybody has Tim Duncan in their top 10. Some people even have him ahead of a guy like Kobe. And we'll get there later on. But he's definitely top 10. Wasn't flashy like some of the other guys. Wouldn't hit shots like Dirk. Wouldn't get boards like Barkley, but did everything super well. The big
actually, he did hit some big game-winning shots. Like I remember hitting a couple fadeaways to win games. The other thing about Tim Duncan, he was a good dude. Like he was intense.
Yeah, again,
he wasn't an ass. I love Tim Duncan, and he's the best power forward in NBA history.
Yeah, there's some debate if he's a 4 or 5, right? Like when he played with David Robinson was the 5, and then Timmy D was the 4. But later in his career, Tim Duncan really couldn't. He was still good, but he couldn't move.
Yeah,
so he was their 5.
Yep.
But I think general consensus is he's a power forward.
But I think Tim Duncan played either 3 or 4 years of college because he was just one of those guys who liked playing in college.
Yeah.
So that probably shortened his career a little bit in terms of all-time scoring and that kind of stuff. But very similar. Next one we'll do, well, I don't know if we'll do it next episode, but we'll probably do it episode 11. Best small forwards of all time.
Yeah, next episode we'll do.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen will not be top 5. So Paul Morrell, Scottie Pippen will not be top 5.
Is Paul
sure.
big?
Loves Bulls, loves Pistons. Oh, Scottie Pippen's the rest number 2 in history, yada, yada, yada. Listen, I like Scottie. He's a good defender. He was a migraine. That's Scottie. The thing that Scottie's best known for is nose. Migraine. Oh, you know what? No, I don't get to take that last shot. Tony Kukoc is going to take it. I'm just going to sit on the bench.
I remember that.
Weak.
Yeah, watching that. I was watching that game when that happened in the 90s.
That hurt.
Bad
that
game.
hurt. Yeah,
Okay.
you were about minus 10 years old.
Close things off.
Episode 9, thanks very much. Check us out on Instagram. And remember, communicate to Isaac or me your best sports road trip. We want to hear about it. Get creative, get fun. And thanks for tuning into The Truth.
Take care, guys.